Hi, I'm Kiki.
I'm Cam,
We're Babygirl.
and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Congratulations with the new single, Nevermind. I really love the fact that we get a little bit more guitars on this track. Take me into that creative process, and let's start first off with the guitars. And why did you guys feel a little faster of the guitars and a little more tone on the guitars was important for this new single?
I mean, Nevermind as a title. Obviously, there's a 90s rock significance to that. Um, and we didn't take that lightly. We wanted to make sure to have we wanted to drive an amp, because that's what you do in 90s rock stuff. Yeah, and we worked on this with Marshall Vore, and he was the tracking engineer and producer on the guitar session, and he had this weird old sort of like homemade amp that was like made out of the driver from an old like school projector or something. I don't know. It was like some
weird
mad scientist
experiment.
guitar amp. So it had a really distinctive tone that I think really inspired the way that the guitar part came together. And that really set the tone for the whole track. We're doing a jangly British rock thing.
As far as like setting the tone for the track, like, did you guys feel that that track kickstarted the writing process, or did the writing process kickstart the track?
When we wrote it, it was just us and guitar. I mean, us and our co-writers, Marshall and Steph. And so I think we knew we were going to build it out to be like that. But when we can, we like to just start with melody and lyrics so that we can just focus on making that exactly what we want it to be. And then we kind of turn to the production after the fact, usually.
What is that like chemistry between the two of you when you guys are sitting down to, like, do you guys come together and sit down and start working on a track, or do you guys usually kind of start writing material separately and then come together and kind of like finalize the project?
Almost always, yeah, it'll start with one of us bringing a piece of writing to the other and being like, what do you think of this? And the other is usually like, that sucks, or that's good. And then, so we'll kind of pick away at it. It usually takes us a while. We're pretty picky, and we like to like write a lot of drafts to make sure that what we land on is exactly what we want it to be. And so, and sometimes as we're writing, production ideas will start to be happening, but we're not necessarily recording them that day. Maybe we're like memoing a guitar riff idea, or, there's a part that feels like it's going to be great for a drum fill that we mentioned, but we can kind of start to hearing it come together, but we're not like, the details of it aren't getting worked out yet.
Certain things just become obvious about how the arrangement should be through the writing. And then we just kind of have like an unspoken agreement about some of those things that feel essential to the production. So,
and sometimes we have unspoken disagreements. Ooh. Where we'll go to be recording something, and or we'll have been writing it in the air, like without any, oh, here comes our cat, without any beat. And then we'll start to sing it to one another and realize that one of us is singing it a bar later than the other person, and we had just been writing it in a different spot in the bar, and then we have to just have like a 3-day long epic, debate about who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, but we definitely like to build from the ground up. Usually one person will have like a little seat. Like for this song, Kiki just had the Nevermind, just that. I was like, what about this? And just like played that. And then we kind of wrote the whole song around that seed. Yeah.
But you never know what idea is going to turn into something that feels worthy of putting out, and what idea is going to turn into just kind of like, oh, all right, well, that's what we wrote today. I don't know if it's ever going to go anywhere, but we
write a lot of music that is relegated to the archives.
Yes.
So you guys must have a lot of voice memos in that phone, like, for sure.
Oh yeah. God. And some of them are so awful. It's like, I'll listen back and I'm like, what was I trying to communicate something with this voice memo? Because I'm doing a horrible job. It's like a muffled, like it's in my pocket and I'm like singing this melody barely.
On
I'm
a
like,
windy day, you're just
this
feeling
isn't
like,
useful. Yeah.
just ideas where it's like, why did I think this was worth documenting?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, song idea. They are in love and they sing about it.
Yeah. We'll workshop it.
I kind of pictured like when you watch like a detective movie and then he just gets on his recorder like this person is doing X, Y, and Z at this moment. Like I feel like you guys are doing the same with your music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kiki, as far as like your vocals go, like I love how your singing is so soft and delicate, but at the same time, like I feel like that's such a hard thing to kind of conquer, like being able to control your voice the way that you do. So how did you learn to do that? And is it something that is now easy for you with all your music now, or is that something that you kind of feel like is still kind of a challenge on controlling?
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out how to sing in a way that sounded like me. I think when I first started singing, like most people, I was just kind of mimicking other singers I was hearing, or even like mimicking vocal teachers I was working with or whatever. Like I just didn't really, you don't really know. I mean, some people, Billie Eilish, for example, she knew how to sound like her when she was like 14, 13. I did not know how to do that yet. Had a lot of bad habits, a lot of things that I picked up that I heard that didn't actually sound good. And I also really wanted to belt. I wanted to be like Hayley Williams, Paramore, like that was my vibe. I wanted to be a rock chick. And it took me years to realize like, dude, you don't sound good when you do that. Like it's just not your thing that you should do. There are some singers that sound amazing when they rip it. And you're not one of them. And you should just like chill out and try just singing in a way that feels less forced. And I think that that kind of slowly turned into now the way that I sing, feeling the most authentic, because it took years and years of like trying to sound like different other singers until I realized like this is how I sound like me. This is how I feel. I perform the songs the best.
And that was a
Yeah.
big part of the conversation in sort of like finding the identity of Babygirl as a band was going, we value songwriting so much and the
Mhm.
song craft is so much a part of the process and what we value about the work that we felt like it was important for Kiki to be singing in a way that was didn't have too much like stylistic affectation and was just like a neutral delivery system for the song, for the melody and lyric.
Mhm.
But then obviously that neutrality sort of became its own stylistic affectation,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
which it's really cool. I like how you sing.
Ah, thanks.
And I like how you kind of touched on that, Cameron, like finding the identity of Babygirl, because like how much of a role does discovering your identity play on the writing process, and what kind of material you would be writing about, or how you would be writing, or the cadence that you would be writing in? Um, and is that something that kind of happened naturally once you guys discovered that identity of Babygirl?
What do you think? I mean, like for example, when we were working on Easy, we started that song with a friend, Emily Rose, and we thought we were writing it for her project, which is a lot more of a pop and funk and R&B leaning thing. So we were writing it a lot sexier, flirtier, more playful. And then when we decided, hey, we're going to take a swing at this for Babygirl, uh, we kind of had to figure out what is our version of this story. How do we make it a little more pathetic, a little more depressing, to fit with
Mhm.
that identity? And I think that's just something that we found over time, like what sounds natural with the type of textures we like in the production. Um, we can be romantic but not sexy. There's
There's just certain things that
yeah,
feel right to us and certain things that don't. And I think that thankfully there's so many amazing people making music that we sometimes have to remind ourselves, like, you don't have to be everything, nor do you have to even reflect everything that you like in music. You can just kind of carve away at the thing that you're going to be, and just be that, and let yourself be the best version of that. And I think that that's what we've been trying to do this whole time, and we're finally starting to feel like we found it.
That's awesome, because I feel like a lot of artists, I mean, it varies within every artist, but I feel like there's some artists that find it instantly, and there's some artists that it takes them years to kind of discover who they really are, what they're really all about. And now that you guys have the identity of your music, as we move forward to Losers Weepers, like, do you guys what do you guys give us as far as like this EP goes? Like, do you give us the styles and sounds that we're listening to right now with the material that you've released, or are you still somewhat testing the waters in a way with this EP?
I would say that we sound the most like ourselves on this EP, but I also think that we we liked having a bit of a difference throughout some of the songs. Um, there's a song on the EP called Today Just Isn't My Day that's quite a departure from a lot of the other styles that you hear on the EP. And I think that we just always try and make sure to think that as long as the melody and lyric feels right to us, we can have fun with the production, and we can borrow from other things, as long as they don't outright feel like they're not serving the song. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of that process has been pushing on the boundaries of what we've done, what we haven't done, and seeing like, okay, how broad of a net can we cast and have it still feel like Babygirl? Like that song that you referenced, it's got kind of a vintage country tilt to it in the writing. It's like a real like conventional Americana thing. And so figuring out how to make that type of composition like produced in a way that doesn't sound out of place with a song like Nevermind was an interesting challenge, and I feel like we rose to the occasion, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what everyone
Oh, we
else
did.
thinks.
If they don't like it, they're wrong. I mean,
yeah, we did.
If they don't like it, they don't know music, period. End of discussion. Like, so like, as far as kind of like trying new things, like, how do you feel the two of you challenge each other when you guys are in the studio, when you guys are creating, specifically for this upcoming EP? Like, Kiki, how did you challenge Cameron, and Cameron, how did you challenge Kiki?
I think our main kind of the way that we challenge each other is definitely by, we are equally opinionated and stubborn about our opinions. And it's like I said, there are times where we have days and days of back and forth on something where we both firmly believe that the way that we're hearing the song being is right. And then eventually one of us will just kind of either start to realize, oh, actually there's some real merit to what you're saying, or just kind of realize, you know what, I don't want to die on this hill. Like, this isn't the fight that I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you have to pick your battles. And we've really been teaching each other, I think, how to even know even more what our opinions are and how we feel about things by kind of pushing back. And sometimes when you're forced to explain a reason for why you think something should be that way, you're actually getting better at reinforcing and understanding your own creative process. So I think that in that way we keep each other on our toes.
Yeah. And I think also just we are super ambitious musically, and we just push each other to make it better than anything we've ever done before. We're always going, how can we make this our strongest lyric, our strongest melody, our best production, whatever, in one or another way. And I think that as excited as we are about the EP, I think the thing I'm most excited about is how much better we got in the process of making it, and how much better the next stuff is going to be because of that.
Amazing. Well, congratulations with the singles that you guys have dropped so far, and definitely excited for this upcoming EP.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.